On this week's show, Marvel turns 1000, Sony versus Disney, but more importantly, there's a new catalog out. Check it out, it's Previews World Weekly, and it's happening right now. What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday, it's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I am one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we're here every week to remind you guys to stop at a comic shop and get involved in what's happening in the world of comics. And we want to remind you, if you're enjoying the show, or even if you're just tuning in for the first time and you like what you see, be sure to give us a like, a follow, and subscribe to make sure you keep the nerd news coming.
And I have to mention, there is a new catalog out this week, right? Hitting comic shops today, if you're watching this on Wednesday. And it's also pretty cool because I know, well, on the cover we have, you can see it, probably a better version back behind us, but we have John Constantine Hellblazer, which I think is important because they're putting the Hellblazer back in Constantine again, which I think is interesting. Also, he's joining the Sandman universe, which I also think is kind of interesting.
Very excited about
all rejoining, I should say. And then on top of that, Undiscovered Country, which some people got an early advance look at. I know Johnny did at San Diego Comic-Con, and everybody who saw the little presentation that Scott Snyder and Charles Soule did were really impressed by that. So yeah, it's an interesting idea, like the pretty contemporary concept, I would say, in regards to America's walling itself off, and the rest of the world doesn't know what's been going on behind the America's walls. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
I remember this one.
Yeah, right.
Very cool.
So definitely check that out. It's out today, and you can pick it up. And be sure to let your comic shop know what you can pre-order. Me personally, and also I know Johnny. There's a Cosmic Ghost Rider statue in there that I was eyeballing pretty aggressively. It's friggin' awesome. It's Kota Bakia too. So
I want that.
Yeah, I think we all do, Johnny. We all do. Might be a little expensive, but that's okay. I just want to point out also Mary Severin, who's actually a comic book artist. She came into comics in the 1940s, became a fixture of the Marvel bullpen like throughout the 60s and 70s, 80s. She passed away last year, and I don't think we did a news bit about her passing when we got a chance to. But I did want to point out that her birthday just passed. So you know, just full circle, I guess, in a lot of ways. But I mean, she was a key fixture in the Marvel universe.
Absolutely.
She created Spider-Woman. That was one of her creations. She's also like, she did a lot of like the comedy books for Marvel back in the 70s and 80s. And also she did Incredible Hulk and Doctor Strange. So happy belated birthday to Mary Severin, because I think her birthday was on the 21st.
There you go.
Also, later in the show, we're going to do a giveaway. Batwoman. We'll be giving away a Diamond Select Toys figure from, well, I just said from Diamond Select Toys. There we go. But yeah, like it's based off the TV show version. So definitely keep an eye on that, and you will win later in the show. But now it's time for what's at comic shops.
True.
So let's talk about it. Anime is here, and she's going to show you what's on shelves this week, and then when we come back, we'll give you some of our picks. Check it out.
Hey Previews World, Mia here, with a look at what's at comic shops for the week of August 28th. So let's jump on in. And we're just getting started. The world of comics has even more to offer, so stop at a shop already, and you might just find your new favorite thing. See ya!
Thanks, Mia, and of course that's just a little bit of what's available. If you want to see a full list of what you can get at your shop this week, head on over to previewsworld.com/new releases. What you looking at?
I kind of slept on this for a while, and like I read the issue 1, but Dial H for Hero #6 is the final issue of this series.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to start playing catch up on it now because I was kind of low-key waiting for all the issues to come out.
Fair.
But issue 1 was actually really cool. And I made it my pick like a few months ago, but it's actually turned out to be, I think it's part of the Wonder Comics line. So it's like DC's kind of like YA-friendly line. And it's actually turned out to be probably one of Brian Michael Bendis' best ideas, because every book I've read from it so far has actually been pretty good.
Cool.
And like the idea is basically, it's an old idea, it's an old DC Comics idea that they're kind of updating a little bit for the 2019. But like the idea is that you get a rotary phone and you dial H for Hero and you become a hero for 24 hours. And like, yeah, it's just a fun book. Like, I think it's good for adults and kids. So
I love it.
yeah, if I'm a kid, I'll prove it.
Very nice.
So yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, it was just, it's been fun, zippy, energetic, like
very good.
A nice one. Yeah. So
yeah.
What else are you looking
I generally
forward
like
to?
young adult stuff for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So this week is a bit of a Vault Comics week for me. I just found that they have a lot of cool stuff out that I'm interested in. First up, I'm looking at the NECROMANCERS map #1.
Nice.
So this is about a young necromancer. Her name is Bethany. And of course, her power is a bit of a no-no in this land that she lives in. So she and her companion are trying to find basically what's a sanctuary for necromancers. And she has this map, but she doesn't really know how it works. So along the way, she has to figure out who can help her decipher the map to get to where she's going.
Okay.
And I mean, it's probably a little bit in the young adult vein of stuff too. So,
Yeah, sure. All right.
But yeah, I just really like the concept here.
I feel like most of the Vault stuff is somewhat in the young adult
Sure.
vein. Not 100%, but like definitely that's kind of the target they're going for.
yeah.
So that's really cool.
Really like it.
Shocker, House of X is my choice this week.
Hey.
Yeah, like last week's Powers of X was just another in a long line of really great issues, and I had a moment where I was actually reading Powers of X #3 at my desk, and let out an expletive.
An expletive.
An expletive. There you go. And and it was actually it's been a great run, and the thing I've really dug about it from the get-go is like how, because we're dealing with an alternate. And I want to say it's not an alternate timeline.
No, yeah.
But like, yeah, well, for argument's sake, we'll say alternate timeline.
little skewed,
It's a little
right?
skew,
Yeah.
right. But what we're getting is like characters who have been kind of, I won't say stagnant, not all of them, but characters who have been typically like just one way. We're seeing them evolve in very interesting ways.
Cool.
Like Cyclops is a little bit more loose. Which I think you're right, yeah. Which is interesting. Like, yeah, he's a little.
That's not him.
He's a little more. He's cockier, a little bit more arrogant, but like also
Interesting.
convinced that he can back it up. Apocalypse is compassionate, which is also kind of interesting. Yeah, right.
Wow.
Xavier's like the story, the catalyst for the story involves very much Xavier just kind of like changing his perspective about the X-Men because of Moira McTaggart, and Xavier's a little bit more like, no, get it done. So yeah, it's really interesting.
Cool.
Moira's at the heart of this story, which is also interesting. It's the character that we haven't really seen in the comic in a long time,
Right.
and to see her have these spoiler alert, these alternating lives, and how they kind of like progressively impact her outlook on things is also really interesting. So
Very cool.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's something I look for every
I'm
week,
glad.
and I'll probably end up picking it again in a couple of weeks or probably next week. So
Inevitable. We have our books that we love.
we have our books that we love, and you should love that one too. So intriguing one. What else are you looking forward to?
So we have Heathen,
Okay.
which is a really fun series.
Also Vault.
Yeah, also Vault Comics. So this is the volume 2 of the trade. So this collects issues 4 through 8. And the concept here is really cool. It's a lot of Norse mythology. It follows a banished Viking. Her name is Adis.
Okay.
And just basically adventure time,
Yeah.
all the cool stuff. And you get to see what the gods are doing and what they shouldn't be doing and
Okay, nice.
clashing all over the place.
Apparently that's what they do.
It's true.
Gods.
It doesn't matter which mythology you're looking at.
Right.
Those gods.
They love to clash.
They love to clash.
That's a good one. I know Heathen was like a really popular. I know Volume 1 came out a few years ago, and it might have been a different series, but but the same line of series. But yeah, like people love that book. So
cool.
yeah, good deal. Some other stuff that you should take a look at this week. There's a new Batman Superman #1. I haven't written the Superman Batman. And I'm very curious why Batman goes before Superman. Because in actuality, the book is actually called Batman Superman #1. But it's interesting because like we're going to talk a little bit later about DC's Infected storyline. And this story is like the first step in that storyline. But also for fans of Batman Who Laughs, he's in the book. And this actually spins out of not just DC Metal, but also the Batman Who Laughs storyline. Also, it's a Year of the Villain tie-in as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of things intersecting here for the DC universe. Definitely check it out. And also just having Batman and Superman have their warring philosophies, like,
Always good.
Yeah, always good. So yeah, just definitely check that out. It's coming out this week.
Very cool.
What else can people look forward to?
Marvel #1000,
Yeah,
guys. It's here. Milestone and a half. Like, this is huge,
Yeah,
right?
no, it is. Yeah.
For sure. So, of course, they've got the greatest array of talent together to, make this giant comic book for
Right, yeah.
1000. And it's the entirety of the Marvel universe of characters, and you know, from the start to the finish. Well, I mean, that's not the finish, but the start to now.
To now, right? Yeah.
It ain't finished, boys.
Right.
But you get a look at what the history of Marvel is, right?
Yeah.
It's really cool.
No, I got to flip through a copy of it, and like legit, that's what it is. Like they're kind of giving you a history of events, but it's also promising some sort of through line that's kind of reveals something about the Marvel universe that people haven't already seen before. So yeah, and it's got a bizarre, I'll just say bizarre laundry list of talent in it. Like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is attached to the book.
Yeah.
Kelly Sue DeConnick came back. It's not that bizarre. Kelly Sue DeConnick's involved, but Kelly Sue DeConnick came back to do a story. Like you've got Walt Simonson and Louise Simonson. Like it's just
really a little bit of everyone.
Yeah, a little bit of everyone. So definitely a milestone. Definitely
Very
a big
cool.
book. Definitely check it out this week. So actually, also something else that people should check out, Harley Quinn Breaking Glass. And it just so happens that we have a trailer for it. So we're going to show you guys this right now. This is a new original graphic novel that just dropped. And when we come back, we'll give a little bit more context for it. But check this out, the trailer for Harley Quinn Breaking Glass.
Listen up, book trailer buffs, because I'm going to tell you a great story and you're going to love it. Or else. It's starring me, Harleen Quinzel. My friend Ivy, my fairy godperson, Mama, and it's a super duper amazing story about us taking on the evil Kane Corporation, who are trying to kick us out of our homes in Gotham City. You want change? You gotta make change. You gotta be change.
And that was Harley Quinn Breaking Glass, and that's part of DC. We were talking about young readers earlier. This is definitely part of DC's young readers line.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Well, first of all, it's Mariko Tamaki, and it's Steve Pugh. So if you're a fan of either one of those creators, or both of them, you should definitely check it out.
For sure.
But on top of that, I was reading more about it, and like apparently it's about gentrification, which I thought was pretty interesting too. So they're trying to introduce readers, younger readers, to these concepts, these real world concepts, but they're using Harley Quinn as a gateway, which I'm very curious how Harley Quinn factors into that.
Right.
Yeah. So definitely check that out. That's in comic shops right now, and it's an original graphic novel. It's never been released in any other format except for this. But now it's time for news.
That's true.
Thea's here. Check that out. And she's going to show us what's been going on in the world of comics in the last 7 days. Let's go.
The 2019 Mike Wieringo Comic Book Industry Awards are to be presented as part of the fan and pro favorite Baltimore Comic-Con. The Ringo Awards has completed the 2019 nomination process, which was inclusive of fans and comic book professionals alike, while voting on the 2019 final ballot is restricted to the comic book industry creative community. For a look at the final ballot, head on over to the PREVIEWSworld website. In addition to final ballot categories, both fan-only favorites from the nomination ballot and Hero Initiative Awards will be presented at the awards ceremony the evening of October 19th.
Cool. No, and it's actually going to be part of the Baltimore Comic-Con event. So, I mean, it's not open to the public, but it'll be officially announced after Baltimore Comic-Con. So we'll probably have, we'll definitely have the winners announced.
I was going to say, definitely.
We'll definitely have them on the show. So.
Plus, they're our local boys.
Right, there you go, exactly.
It's our local con.
So I'm hoping we get invited to this one. We went last year. It was actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun one. So, I
like it.
It's a good one.
It's a comfortable size for me.
There you go.
On September 25th, one of the mighty Marvel Universe's most beloved groups starts a new journey under a fresh moniker in Runaways number 25. Runaways editor Nick Lowe teased the news, and next month, writer Rainbow Rowell and artist André Genolet present the beginning of an unprecedented era for one of Marvel's favorite families. With this new work, Rainbow came up with the idea of Doc Justice, this venerable LA hero who's without his support team, and maybe the Runaways become just that. Pre-order Runaways number 25 at your local comic shop now, and prepare for Doc Justice and the J-Team coming in Runaways number 27.
I'm very curious why they're called the J-Team.
Yeah, this was not one that I am familiar with.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's, they got the Hulu show and all of that. But I'm very curious. If you're reading Runaways, what do you think of this? Because it's still in the Runaways comics, so I think it's safe to assume that this is not a long-term thing.
Right, yeah, just sort of like a little side swoop perhaps, right? But
so, But let us know in the comments if you're down with this, yay or nay. So
6 corrupt versions of DC's superheroes are coming to terrorize Earth this November and December, as DC has revealed a series of 6 comics running parallel to the story unfolding in Batman Superman by writer Joshua Williamson and artist David Marquez. Each one-shot or tie-in special spotlights a corrupt version of Shazam, Supergirl, Hawkman, and more, known within the universe as the Infected. These 6 issues star DC's beloved heroes, revealed to be secretly infected by the Batman Who Laughs with a toxin that violently transforms them into the worst versions of themselves. Their buried frustrations and pent-up anger will boil to the surface, unleashing dangerous results. Check out PREVIEWSworld.com to get a look at the lineup of these Infected Heroes comics and creative teams, as well as their covers.
Cool. Yeah, no, it's this week, Batman Superman is out, and this is like I mentioned before, that book is the beginning of this storyline.
Yep.
So definitely check it out if you're interested. And also the book we showed like preview art for the Batman Superman books.
Yes.
And like it looks awesome.
Absolutely.
Like the artwork looks amazing, and these covers also look really cool
Yes, they
too.
do.
Right.
I really enjoy them.
yeah, and I love the multi-layer. I don't think it mentions that in the press release, but they have the multi-layered covers on top of that.
Right.
So yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. It's good.
For
It's a
sure.
good one. So now it's time for Previews Toy Chest. Actually, one thing I did want to mention before we transition out, and it actually involves toys, is if you look at our latest news section, we have a bunch of previews exclusives that were announced. Previews exclusives that were announced this past week. One of them was a Miles Morales Funko Pop.
Yes.
Which is actually a lot of fun. I had to order that for people. Quite a few people that I know. Got people going into my DMs like, "Can you order this for me?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." But on top of that, we also got some Beast Kingdom previews exclusives featuring Iron Man as well. So yeah, definitely check that out. Definitely be sure to check out the latest news section for just any of the exclusive that we have available, because those are only through us and only go into comic shops. But now it is time for Previews Toy Chest. Natasha's here, and she's going to show you what's in comic shops today. And then when we come back, we may have a contest for you.
We do.
There you go. Spoiler.
Hey Previews World, Natasha here to give you a look inside the Previews Toy Chest. Let's find out what's at comic shops for the week of August 28th, 2019. Want to see more? Be sure to check out Talking Toys, our weekly show that spotlights new collectibles on their way to your friendly local comic shop. Just head over to previewsworld.com/talkingtoys to find out more.
We all took like a second to marvel at that Killer Croc Batman statue.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's actually a really good one. And Johnny was telling us it's like 8 inches tall or
Yeah,
something
it's a
like
little
that.
baby one.
Yeah, but like it looks super detailed, so pretty cool.
Pretty impressive.
Also, again, there's a lot of Batman this week.
Yes.
There's like no shortage of Batman or Harley Quinn. There's like no shortage of them.
And our lovely random Godzilla.
And a random Godzilla, which is the '99 movie, which I thought.
Yeah.
I'm like, interesting. They
like
made a
him.
figure out of that.
He's nice and puffy.
Oh, that's fair. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong movie. I'm thinking of the American version. That's
Yeah.
not the American
No,
version. That was like
definitely
98 or
not.
97.
Yeah.
But anyway, a lot of Batman this week. But we're also going to give away one of the Bat family. Right. So what do we have this week?
Dun, 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 dun. Batwoman.
Batwoman.
And so this is from the TV series, her little cameos there in Arrow.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
It's got the fancy Arrow packaging. And if you guys out there want to win her, let us know what your favorite Batwoman storyline is. Hit us up on social media wherever you can find us. We'll take entries until next week and pick one of you to win this one.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I'm actually not that familiar with this the character's story arc, so
Yeah, me either.
I'm curious what people love, what stories people love. I know it's Greg Rucka, I know it's like one of his creations, and some great J.H. Williams art. I've seen plenty of J.H. Williams art featuring her, but yeah, let us know. Give us some reading suggestions. Let us know what we should read if we want to catch up on Batwoman.
Yeah,
So, time for Social Swamp.
it's true.
So, I'm going to let you give the context here, and then we'll get into more nitty gritty. But it was for me, it was an annoying week for nerd culture.
Shrug.
But one of the good things we're going to highlight right now. So check this out. This is Social Swamp time.
So, of course, we have the news of the Disney-Sony clash over Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, the best thing to come out of this has been memes.
Yeah.
So we're going to show you guys some of the a little collection of some of the good ones that we found, right?
yeah.
So first up here we have radioactive spider realizing that it needs to bite a dude again. Ah, here we go again. He's so put upon, that poor spider.
He is.
Next up, no one. Marvel. Half. And of course we have the Disney and Marvel and Sony like,
Can someone tell us what these two, like, these
where
are
these
clearly
women come from?
something.
Yeah.
Like, where these women come from?
I
You
don't
said-
actually know the source of them.
And you said the cat's what?
It's just a picture of somebody's cat that they posted on the internet,
Oh,
and
okay.
it turned into a meme. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's accurate.
As happens. It is accurate.
It works.
It's a great face. That cat has the best face. And then, of course, we have Spider-Man gets rebooted again. Thugs who killed Uncle Ben. Let's kill him properly this time. Oh, I really hope we don't have to see that again.
No.
Please, no. Next up, we have some good stuff from good old Austin Powers. With our cinematic universe, combined with your character, and splitting our profits 50-50, we could make billions. And Sony going, why make billions when we could make millions?
There you go. Had to throw that in there.
And the classic Eric Andre. Sony shooting the Spider-Man franchise. Why would Marvel do this? And of course, one of my favorite scenes in very, very, very good. How much for Spider-Man? Not for sale. Okay, how much for your company? Really? Oh, I'll get your company.
So I just want to clarify. Well, two things I want to clarify off the bat. We're not taking sides in this.
No, we're not.
Ultimately,
Yeah.
and actually, I don't care about this. I got to be honest about this at this point. That's true. But also, all credit to the people who did create this. When I could find the people who did create this, we make sure that we give you a little, their screen name or whatever. If we didn't give you credit, I'm sorry, I apologize, but your name was not attached to it when I found it, but it was hilarious.
Yes. We do have one final one, though.
Oh, we do? We got one
have
more.
the best one.
Oh, yeah, actually, I love this one. Yeah, this is hilarious.
Which is, of course, Spidey laying down for Homecoming, chilling out in the airport for Far From Home, and then in the streets, homeless.
The Spider-Man trilogy is complete.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. It's weird because this, I'm at a weird impasse with this.
Oh, yeah?
It's just I'm glad we got the MCU.
Yes.
As an old school Marvel fan, it's been great.
It has.
But I'm a little put off by just how people are attaching themselves to this, and everyone became a legal expert last week.
Right.
And an expert in contract negotiations, particularly my friends.
Oh, no. Guys.
I'm not even necessarily talking about people just the internet in general,
Yeah.
but just my
People
friends.
Yeah.
Right.
You're
But
like,
yeah. But I don't know. Do you care about this? Ultimately.
Ultimately, it's out of our hands.
Right,
We
yeah.
have no control over
Right,
it.
yeah,
These
yeah,
corporations, they're going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah,
So
right.
we'll have to just see what the outcome is at the end of the
yeah.
day. And a lot of the articles were saying that Tom Holland is still going to be involved, so we're not going to have to reboot the entire thing and start over with a completely fresh Spider-Man.
Right.
So all I can do is hope that that's the case, because
Yeah.
honestly, I love him as Spider-Man. I think he's really great.
No, he's a really good Spider-Man, yeah.
So far, I think he's been my favorite, honestly.
Yeah.
So let's just hope that we get something good out of it at the end.
I was always into the idea of him growing into the role, because if you look at the first, I want to say maybe the first 20, 30 years of Spider-Man in comics, he kind of just grows, and then he kind of stops around the
Right,
ages. He's perpetually in his 30s.
Exactly.
but I always thought that was always interesting to see him go from high school to college, and that was always the plan, and then him to go into the adult world. And I guess we might still get that, but it won't be attached to the MCU potentially.
Which is fine.
Right. Yeah.
It's fine.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I also kind of the mindset that this is not over.
Yeah.
This is just
absolutely.
this is just part of the negotiation process, and things might go in a different direction in the not too far off future.
Yeah.
But yeah, also it's a fun reminder to let people know Spider-Man does still exist.
It's true.
He's still in the comic books.
Yeah.
It's his original form. He's been able to do. He can interact with the larger Marvel universe in comics. So if the movies don't do it, the movies don't do it. I'm part of a generation that didn't even think we would get this far.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's interesting to me because I know there are people who are younger than me that the MCU and this interconnectivity, they just assume that's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
But there was a time when that wasn't a given.
Not
you
at
know?
all.
And to the point that like every 5 years, it's like this MCU thing's got like 5 more seconds. It's gonna fall
Right,
apart.
yeah.
And we got all the way to Endgame.
It's true.
So I'm kind of okay with just being like, okay,
We had it.
yeah,
We had a nice package.
It's good.
Let's move on to the next one, right?
Yeah. Also, a little shade to certain comic sites that call themselves comic book sites because they tackled this 7 different ways, and they don't actually cover comic books at all.
Right.
So a little bit of shade there.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. You know exactly who you are.
true.
And they're not Previews World.
No.
So, but that's almost it for this week's show. But what else do we have? We got to do our usual wrap up.
We do. We have the comic shop shout out. Of course, if you guys want to have your favorite local comic shop featured on the show, let us know what they are. Use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS and they could get a feature. This week, we're going to leave you with photos of Nameless City Board Games and Comics, which is in Springfield, Missouri, and that was sent in by James Kent Sturgeon. Thank you for that. So that's the end of that.
Yeah. And that's it for Previews World Weekly this week. I've been one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we'll see you at the spinner rack.
Thanks for watching Previews World Weekly. If you like the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes.